Kyle, how are you?
I'm well.
Look like you're musing.
Yeah, you've recovered from your actual cancer.
Yeah. I recovered from my actual cancer. I gotta say, I took my cancer like a man. I didn't complain one bit. I mean, I complained to y'all or whatever on the show for entertainment value. Nobody in my family had to deal with my cancer diagnosis. And I don't even feel like I milked it for like attention or viewership or anything. I was just like, I have an eye patch. I have an eye patch this week, so just please don't make fun too much.
Did I miss a show? I don't think I think I had it done on a Friday. Maybe I missed Tuesday because I looked like a monster. I was too vain, I think.
Yeah,
so I might have missed a PKN.
They made these little delicate cuts to remove the cancer, but it looked like I'd been beaten. Like there was so much bruising and stuff, and that doesn't. I don't understand how that works. I wish I had a physician to be like, oh, you're cutting these blood vessels, and so those are all dying on this end and having to be replenished or something. That's not bruising. That's this. But it looked like I'd been punched in the head like a UFC fighter and cut. And then
it's definitely bruising. Like
your surgery,
your blood, and they do a shitty job. Like I've had that happen where you get go in for a blood test and the person sucks at it, and you end up getting a bruise at that location because basically you're just bleeding subcutaneously because they fuck it up.
If I understand, Kyle's surgery was they took a wedge out of his eyelid and then sewed it back together.
Yeah, and then they cut out here so that they would have enough eyelid to stretch over because we lost some.
Okay,
that was
took a football out of the bridge of my nose, and the place was cool. They do this particular surgery as their specialty, so they removed some. They tested it in 2 doors over, not outside, but in the same building, 15 feet away. They tested it, and then they took a little more, and then that came back clean, and they sewed me up. And they're plastic surgeons that specialize in the bridge of the nose. They were the guys you want for this, but I still I'm I make a living on camera, and they're really mean.
They're really mean. We've cultivated a huge group of bullies over the years. Could it be us? No.
I certainly not. I was being bullies every week.
Just a fun group of guys having a good.
That's what we're doing right now. We're bullying right now.
I know there's someone out there with melanoma who's screaming stolen valor at their computer or their car radio right now.
I came back with the cancer survivor t-shirt.
Dude,
that's great. That is the stubbed toe of cancer.
I gotta say,
survivor. Me and that guy with pancreatic fighting for his life. We're both warriors.
It was one of the.
He wasn't strong enough to defeat his cancer.
Wow, it was one of the most uncomfortable things I've ever dealt with in my life. I've always been weird about my eyes. I don't if I get a hair in there, my mom would be like, yeah, let me just roll your eyelid backwards with this Q-tip and I'll get it out with a wet little piece of toilet paper. And it's no. My dad would do that. He'd get stuff in his eyes and he'd be all in there. He got a piece of metal embedded into his eyeball. It was actually a piece of the wire from a wire grinder.
I've done
and
that.
It had gone into his eyelid or into his eyeball, and every time he blinked it was cutting the inside of his eyelid, and they had to drill a hole in his eyeball eventually to get that thing out with an itty-bitty eyeball drill. I shit you not. So my thing was just awful. Them cutting on my eyelid, injecting needles of painkiller into my eyelid, which didn't seem to do anything. And then I can still remember squeezing my toes in my shoe because you don't want to flinch. But it's cutting on my eyelid, and it's rolled all backwards, and it's in this weird apparatus to keep it all open. It was fucked.
Did they have a TV?
What?
Did they have a TV like the dentist?
Fuck no, they didn't have a TV like the dentist. No, they just had 4 concerned nurses looking down with those blue hats on.
When I had a metal shrapnel, I'll call it, in my eyeball. So when I do woodworking, I'm really diligent about wearing eye protection. But I just had a quick hold a drill using a drill press, and it moves so much more slowly than a saw. I underestimated the danger. And anyway, I drill it. I'm kind of bit me. Now I have this personality quirk in that I every time I was sick as a child, I was accused of faking, a lot. They never believed me. They always thought I was faking. And in fairness, I never faked. I just kind of pumped it up a little.
Yeah, a bit of a Meryl Streep when he was.
Yeah, I don't feel well. Maybe I could get out of school. So But it stuck with me as an adult, and I'm like, I swear, like, am I faking? No, this hurt. Anyway, so I go to the eye doctor, and he's like, yeah, there's a metal shrapnel in here. I'm like, are you sure? And he said, Woody, it's rusting. I was like, all right. Yeah, just please get that out.
So you guys, honest to the bone about your cancers. You handled it like warriors. I know you both wear the rubber bands. And meanwhile, I want to know, because I'm not
I've got a cancer
people
survivor
think it's a
cock ring.
bracelet. For me, it's a cock ring.
Yeah.
Constantly falling off. You know, I'm always losing it.
No, don't give away my secrets.
He's got a whole drawer of those things, folks.
Only because I stretched it out.
Just live strong, live hard. So you guys, you would never ever lie about your cancer. When you
never
see
say
someone
never,
fib
never say
about
never. Like, what if you had AIDS from a blood transfusion, but you knew our audience wasn't going to believe that shit? So you, you know what I mean,
dude? That would be brutal, because there's no way they'd buy it.
They know what, like, man, I'm getting all.
Do you think
my
if
blood drawn like every
from a
6
blood
weeks?
Transfusion, our audience would be sympathetic?
No.
No.
They'd be like, man, I mean, this is for the past. The show had to end eventually. Like, it's just
they wouldn't be chill about it at all. So, like, maybe then you say you have cancer, but I don't think you're stealing any valor. You're just like making up for some misinformation that might be out there. I think Magic Johnson got his from straight sex somehow, and then I can't remember who I was reading about the other day. It was this famous person in art or media or something, and it was a blood transfusion. I was just thinking, like, God, that would be so it does happen. Like, there's a percentage of occurrence, like, regularly. Yeah. They allowed, like it's kind of a touchy subject, but I think they only recently allowed homosexual men to give blood, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know they had recently allowed it.
Yeah. I believe so. That was my understanding. I think that was like 3 or 4 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun.
I've given blood more recently than that, so I can tell you, like,
they let you in, huh?
A year ago they kicked you right out the door if you fucked a guy lately.
Yeah, I know. They rejected my blood last time because I had those syphilis antibodies. Right? It was the sex with men. I checked the box. It's just a butch girl. Leave it alone. But it's no, I had syphilis antibodies, I guess, and I did some research and talked to my doctor, and apparently you like keep them for a long time after you've had syphilis. That's been a while ago.
Yeah, because that's curable.
So you'd still pop. Does that mean you would test positive for syphilis if you have antibodies? That's what they do, right?
I think no, because I test regularly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, not anytime after I got all that fucking penicillin in my ass. That was really cool. They let me inject myself. I thought that was awesome. She came with that big shot, and I was like, "Oh, that's a big needle. Can I do this?" I didn't trust her to do it. Like, I know
this is my last day. You do whatever you want.
That's basically what she fucking said. She was like, "Where would you do it if I let you?" And I was like, "Right here in the top of my glute."
I wouldn't attack you with it, if that's what you're thinking.
Well, she was making sure I was like, had some semblance of an idea of what the fuck I was doing. And like, I've been stabbing that muscle in my ass every other day for, months at this point. So it was just like, I know what I'm doing. I know my ass better than she does. She just knows asses.
I know it better.
Hang on.
We should get back to Boogie.
Yes. Oh, yes. We haven't even mentioned.
Yes, no mercy for Boogie.
It is
Boogie the liar.
It's strongly thought that he's been a big old fibber about his cancer situation.
Yeah.